Man, it's so beautiful outside. It reminds me of your beautiful fucking face. Beautiful piece of art, you. Mm. So, check this out. Check this out. I've been a conspiracy theorist since 1923. And my grandfather has been a conspiracy theorist since 1607. So that tells you something. That everything that we think normally comes true, but you don't want to believe us because you won't believe it until it actually happens to you. And that is okay. That is okay. There's tons and tons of conspiracy theories. One being that there could be a zombie apocalypse or a space invasion, an alien invasion, including but not limited to women putting men on child support. Now, keep in mind that it takes two to tango. No one single person is responsible. It definitely takes two to tango. Even I'm guilty of it. But when it takes two to tango, here's the issue that's been long debated for the longest time. Women are naturally put on this pedestal where they speak, and 90% of the time they get what they want. Everyone loves to control the narrative. When you see a documentary, you have that Morgan Freeman or that Denzel Washington or that Samuel L. Jackson, even the Chris Rock narrative. You know, they tell you their side of the story. But they tell you their side of the story and what they see. But that's always the outside looking in. There's never the story of the inside looking out, right? So the outside looking in is like the woman gets pregnant naturally, okay, that's fine. And she chooses if she wants to keep the child or not. That's cool. Till this day, as we speak, that's still an argument. Their body, their choice. That's cool. So, with that being said, if the woman doesn't want to be a mother and the father does, and the father does want to be a parent, that's on him. So what? You know, it's her body, it's her choice. Now let's flip the roles. If the mother wants to be the mother and the father doesn't want to be a father, that's not his choice. So either way, if a mother wants to be forced into motherhood, she's not going to be forced into motherhood. If the father has to be forced into fatherhood, then he has no choice in his say. He's going to be a father. And the state/government will make sure of that. And then there's custody of the child, right? So after one or both parties are forced to be parents, and then for some reason the guy liked this random photo of this Instagram/OnlyFans model online, and then his wife or girlfriend gets upset and she's like, oh, I'm going to break up with you. And while I break up with you, I'm going to dictate whether you can see the child or not. The list can go on. That's when the custody battle comes into play. And that goes on a lot. Yeah, that's kind of over exaggerating, but I mean, there's literally at least 50 ways that a woman will end a relationship solely for the purpose of screwing over the father in any way that she can. Now, growing up, I'm seeing all this. I'm thinking like, why are these men getting married without a prenuptial agreement? The common counter argument is, oh, if you love them, then you wouldn't mean that. There's trust in a relationship, all that stuff. And it's like, yeah, there is, but is there really? And then you have to keep in mind that when they say that you need to trust them, then they go behind and find 1,000,001 reasons to not be with you solely they could take anything and everything you work for and add it to their lifestyle. Now, this woman most women do it. I'm not going to say all, but most women do it. They see a well-off man and they're like, man, I want to find any and every reason to be with this man because he could definitely provide for me and probably my other kids too. So this woman gets pregnant by this, let's say, an athlete, a basketball star. So this basketball star is a conspiracy theorist just like myself. Now, the difference between me and him is that he has that money to say, screw it, here you go. As for me, I still have to, watch for, stray landmines. So they're in this relationship. The dumb part about this basketball player is that he knows what kind of woman she was, so it's kind of on him on this part. But still, just stay with me. So she gets pregnant, and he's like, "Hey, I'm not ready to be the father." Now, keep in mind, if the roles are reversed, which in her head it is, she dictates on whether he has the right to be the father or not. When people go to court for child support, they get a certain amount, and then over time, they keep going back to court to increase the amount, to increase more amount. Oh, he has a raise. I need more money to raise this child. Oh, he got a promotion. He's making more, so that's more money on top of the.
What's up, bro?
Hey, what's going on?
Not a whole lot. You gonna be free in like an hour?
In an hour? Yeah.
It's pretty serious. I'll let you know.
All right, I'll be here. So, fuck, what was I saying? God damn it, Donnie. Oh yeah. So when the roles are reversed, like, they hit him up for more money, more money, more money. So, hold on. So they keep siphoning money from the father, knowing fully well that most of it is not going towards the kid. Like, child support's been going on for as long as child support's been going on. I want to say at least the 70s at best. That's as far as I could think that has been going on. And the money, all of it doesn't go to the child, because the other counter argument is, oh, what about the rent? What about the light bill? What about the food? What about the clothes? Like, yes, the clothes for sure, food for sure, but keep in mind that when a woman has multiple children, they're using another man's child support to feed the other children, give other clothes, and the list can go on for other children, including but not limited to themselves. Not the child itself. So when she got pregnant, she said that she's going to keep the kid. So the basketball star was like, well, I'll give you $100,000 for this abortion. Abortion is controversial. It's a controversial topic. Yes, a life matters. Give the child up for adoption. The list can go on. Or, worst case scenario, try to make it work between you two. But the basketball star wasn't trying to have all that. Her goal, which is not confirmed, but is definitely not denied, that her goal was to pretty much prolong the child support arrangement so she could constantly live off of his wealth. Keep in mind that most child support cases, the court gives you a set amount of money. And as soon as the man gets ahead in life, gets a promotion, just anything good that goes along with his life, it's immediately stripped away and given to the mother of the child, so she could raise the kid. There are celebrities who are far richer than all these basketball stars, and there's no way that any person could give $100,000 a month in child support. That's just outrageous. But I think the courts are catching on and be like, there's no way that child support is $100,000. So I think the good thing about the child support now is that they're setting a realistic amount across the board. But yeah, her goal was to milk it. So not only did she not get the abortion, but she kept $100,000 to herself. So when the kid was born, naturally, she tried to move to California because, one, California is a state where when it comes to child support, you know, like it's far stricter than any other state. Not only is it stricter, but you get more money because of the cost of living out in California. But that didn't go that didn't go her way. And low key, she's heated about that. So wherever state that they were from, they based the child support off of that. And then he said he wants nothing to do with the kid. He doesn't want to be a father, and he signs all legal obligation from the child to the mother. Now, she wasn't expecting that. What she was expecting is, oh, he was going to fight 50-50 or something in the nature, where now that she essentially trapped him, he has to play the father role. Now, keep in mind what I said earlier. Earlier, I said that women choose to be a parent or not, and the women also choose whether the father is the parent or not as well. So since she chose not to get the abortion, since she chose that she wants him to remain the father, he pulled a Uno reverse card and said no, you're going to be the mother. I gave you money to abort it. You decided to keep it. So now here is the sole custody for everything. Now, when it was Uno, when it was reverse, she had a skip or something like that, thinking that she still is going to win the game. But he also said, here's $2.1 million to pay the full 18 years of child support. Paying the full 18 years of child support was a draw 4. So he did reverse Uno, and then he put the draw 4. Now people are like, why would he pay that amount? You see, the reason why he paid that amount, like I said earlier, is because if you're making $15 an hour, the court is gonna charge you child support based off of that. And as soon as you make more money, child support will take that extra money that you're making and give it to child support. So if his child support was 2.1 million and he paid that in installments, i.e. monthly or weekly or bi-weekly or however the court does it, you know, and he makes more money in his career, that means that it's more money in her pocket or the child's pocket. But if you pay that all at once, there's no reason for her to come back and ask for more. So not only did he give up all rights, all contact with the kid, he paid 18 years worth of child support where she legally can't come back and ask for more. See what I'm saying? So low key, she's a little heated because now she's technically, technically she's now officially a single mom with 2.1 million. Now here's the thing. That 2.1 million, a woman like that, where she has to look good, you know, she's a certain demographic. So, you know, I'm just keep it PC like that and say, you know, she needs to take care of her hair, her eyelashes, her nails, you know, so she could look good, and pretty much live the fast lifestyle before she had the kid. That 2.1 million is going to go by extremely fast. Most men, most people, $100,000 is something that we wish that we could see in a year. But most people are making mid 40s to low 60s a year. So this woman was granted $2.1 million and she already spent $100,000 on the kid less than a month. So that's going to go away pretty soon. The good thing about the age that we live in is that, you know, it's not like the early 2000s. It's not like the 90s or the early 2000s where, you know, we could say whatever you want and do whatever you want and hope that it all goes away. Unfortunately, everything is documented now. So the kid will go back and watch these videos and be like, she really tried to trap my father. You know, like, I know he's my father. He didn't want nothing to do with me. And she kept me around spending all this money towards frivolous things. And now I'm just another broke kid. Mind you, she tried to control the narrative. Women love controlling the narrative. Women love controlling the narrative. Hashtag believe all women, me too, all that stuff. You know, they love controlling the narrative. But as soon as you take away their ammunition, they soon realize that, okay, now I actually have to play ball. I actually have to play game. And they don't like that. Everyone is catching on. Slowly, they're catching on slowly, but they're still catching on nonetheless. These young men are seeing what these women are doing today. They're seeing how they're operating, and these men are moving accordingly. And when you see these men moving accordingly, it's like counting cards at a casino. The casino wants to take your money, but they don't want you to catch up on the games or the schemes that they're using to take your money. It's all a gamble. So when people say, oh, don't sign a prenuptial agreement, you know, you have to love them and all that stuff. Well, that's a lie. So, and I locked myself out of my apartment. I don't know how I did that, but and I'm screwed.